It's like riding a bike. What's going on, everybody? I haven't seen y'all since June something or other. Do we play a game in June? I think we played a game in June. Okay, let's. Okay, so there goes Kispert. Actually, no, I'm not going to do this. So here are the rules for this. I am going to try to watch this live as it happens and not check my phone. Although I just broke that rule because I saw on my phone that the Wizards are taking Corey Kispert. And why would the Knicks or why would the Wizards want to trade down with the Knicks so the Knicks can take Corey Kispert? Because Corey Kispert's a really good basketball player. Man, what's going to happen? So we have OKC at 16, Memphis picking for New Orleans at 17, and then OKC picking again at 18. We are not spoiling. Man, how am I supposed to do this? My phone's right here. I can just look at my phone. Andrew, you're killing me. All right. I'm putting away my phone. I'm not going to look at my phone. What do I think will happen here? I'm going to look at something else. All right, here we go. I have a funny feeling. Jared Butler is in play here because. So I wrote today that I thought Zaire Williams would be the pick if he was there, and I did not think he would be there. I thought he would go to Oklahoma City. I didn't think he would go as early as he did. What's going on, Leon? Our first super chat. What's going on, buddy? Missed these live chats with the KFS fam. Hoping for a great night for us Knicks fans. Let's go. I'm hoping for a great night too. We'll see what happens. Maybe they could still trade up, but I'm kind of like the notion of them bringing in 3 rookies. I still don't think it's going to happen. I don't know how they avoid it at this point, but if I was a betting man, I would bet that they would figure out some way. I don't know. They would, at this point, for them not to make all 3 of those picks, they would have to either trade one of the picks for a veteran, or they would have to punt one of the picks for until next year, or some future year, and basically trade it away for a future first. So let's reassess here. So the guy who has obviously fallen is Sengun. I'll say Sengun. No one had him falling outside of the top 15. But he fell outside of the top 15. I do not think the Knicks are going to take Sengun. Tom Thibodeau has never had a guy in the middle who can't at least provide some semblance of rim protection. I don't think he's going to start now. I think they want shooting, and I think they want defense with this pick. What's going on, Ray? That's way too generous of you, Ray. Shout out to Terrence Clark. That's really nice. That's sad. He could have been a lottery pick. Anyway, it's so sad. I don't think they're going to take Sengun. What's up, Barry? How you doing, my man? I don't think they're going to take Garuba. I think they want shooting. I wouldn't be shocked if they took Garuba. I don't think they're going to take Garuba. I think Butler is probably would be my odds-on favorite to be the pick at this point if they don't take Isaiah Jackson. Isaiah Jackson has obviously been he's CAA, he's Kentucky, he's a rim-running 5. He's going to be on a rookie contract, as are all these guys for the next 4 years. This is really touching. What would that mean for Mitch? I don't know. Could just mean they bring back Mitch on the team option for whatever it is, $2 million, and then go on their merry way from there. I would say Jackson or Butler right now. But we'll see. Maybe Butler gets taken by the Thunder. I'm trying to think who else they would even consider here. I could see them considering Springer. Man, Keon Johnson's still on the board. I don't think they're going to take Keon. Although, man, if Keon's there and they pass on Keon, I love Keon Johnson. Anyway, some other thoughts on the draft. I mean, I don't really have. I see people asking for Sharif Cooper. Here's my thing on Sharif Cooper. I think Cooper obviously has a very special skill, but I think the Knicks are going to be very, and particularly because I think Tom Thibodeau is going to have say or has say over this pick. I think after you win the Coach of the Year award, I think you've probably earned that right. We know he's had input on front office decisions in the past. We know he had input on the Rose trade. I don't think Tibbs is in love with the idea of drafting a point guard who is going to be a defensive liability possibly for his entire career, and who, as of right now at least, has not shown the ability to shoot the three. I know he was a better shooter in high school and basically all over the place before he came to Auburn. I just don't see it. Maybe I'll be surprised. Ian Begley had the report a few weeks ago that they were kicking the tires on Cooper and digging and finding some information on him. I would be surprised if it was Cooper. Tom Thibodeau definitely has hand, and tonight he's going to need it. Some people are mentioning Jalen Johnson. Again, Jalen Johnson is – so there were two guys going into this draft that I felt pretty confident the only two guys actually that I felt pretty confident the Knicks were not going to take. One of them was Jalen Johnson, because you just look at Obi Toppin and Emmanuel Quickley last year, like unquestionable character kids, like in the gym, living in the gym, the whole thing. I just, if it was only the thing with Duke with Jalen Johnson, I'd be like, maybe they would, look past it. But my understanding is there's some issues in terms of his commitment and whatnot going back even before he got to Duke. I just don't see the Knicks doing that. Besides the fact that the Knicks don't need another power forward. And if the Knicks did draft another power forward, I think they would draft a power forward who could play some five, which is why I'm not completely ruling Garuba out, because I think with Garuba, even though he's 6'8", you could probably put him at the 5 and survive, because he's that good of a defender. And I actually think defensively he'd fit really well with both Obi Toppin and Julius Randle. But he's just, I think this team after that first round series knows that they're not going to be able to compete if they don't add some offense. And not that I think anyone that they're going to pick tonight is necessarily going to have a huge impact on offense. But then again, they drafted a kid last year in Emmanuel Quickley, who was arguably their most dangerous offensive player in certain ways. Obviously, Randall did what he did, and RJ and the whole thing. But I don't know that anyone they're going to get at this spot is going to have that level of impact. Although, I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't speak so fast. Andrew Claudio, my producer extraordinaire, is complimenting me on the lighting. He says I could stay here. I don't have to move into the studio. We'll see if I wake up my wife and the kids and I get yelled at, and I do have to move into the studio. Hold on. We got a comment here from Chad Cohen. Hello, Chad. What's going on, man? As a Duke fan, Jalen Johnson, he can't F Jalen Johnson. I thought you were writing forward Jalen Johnson, but you were just writing F Jalen Johnson. He can't shoot, pass, or defend. Other than that, he's a great basketball player. I always get worried personally when I'm reading stuff on a guy and I'm listening to, because obviously I don't have the time to watch every college game, but I watched Jalen Johnson for probably 3-4 games that he played. There was nothing that screamed to me that guy was going to be an impact player in the half court at either end. And I feel like in a lot of the scouting reports, there was like, oh, he's going to be a monster in transition. When like one of the first things that I read about a guy is he's going to be a monster in transition, that usually sends up some red flags for me. Don Cappuccini, what's going on, my man? How you doing? I wish I could be a fly on the wall in the Knicks war room right now. I'm happy to have these chats back. Yeah, I'm happy to have them back too. So Andrew, What am I supposed to do? I could see in the chat people are talking, and I see names being thrown around. I guess I'm just not going to look at the chat. All right, I'm going to keep trying to react live as best I can. Yeah, we miss you guys. We definitely miss you guys. It's been a weird last few months. I've been busy personally, which I'll share. I'll share with that news when it finally transpires in a couple months. Don't worry, nothing with KFS. Some personal stuff. So it's been a busy few months for me, but it's just been weird not to have any games. It's been weird, particularly to write newsletters every day about not a team that's playing games. Okay, here we go. I think this is finally the Kispert pick. So I'm now going to be 2 picks behind from what's been reported. That's good. There we go. So I don't know how I feel about Corey Kispert's outfit here. What am I drinking? Right now I'm drinking Guinness in my beautiful Silk City coffee cup. But I'm probably going to switch to something a little bit more serious after the Knicks make their picks. But yeah, it's been weird writing about this team for almost 2 months, and they haven't played any games. What was I saying? Oh yeah, Kispert's outfit. It seems like his blazer is a little short. I know his pants are short, but I know that's the style now that the young people are wearing. They wear the pants. There's here's the top of the shoe, and then here's the pants. And then all this is like ankle, maybe some sock. I don't really get it, but again, that's what the young people are doing. But the blazer, I did not know that the short blazer was in as well. So I don't really know what that says about him as a basketball player. He is an usher at Radio City. He might be an usher at Radio City. That's a good comment. Okay, so that means we are up to pick 16. We need to draft Kispert's son when he has one with that girl. Jesus Christ. Can we trade for a 2040 first round pick? Yeah, Frank, I can't recognize Kispert without the headband either. So let me just give my react to the. Okay, so Andrew was allowing me to know this news. Oklahoma City traded 16 to Houston, and for 2 future first-round picks. Holy shit! I'm guessing it's 2 Brooklyn picks. Man, OKC, they just can't help themselves. Whew, interesting. Okay. React to the Russ trade. Andrew was telling me to react to the Russ trade. The Russ trade, I think, is my reaction to the Russ trade is simply, I don't know what better thing the Lakers were going to do. I know people, or Woj was reporting that maybe they were still going to try to get in on Buddy Hield. I don't know how they would get in on Buddy Hield if they completed this deal. I don't know how that cap would work. But to be honest with you, even if they got Hield, I don't know how much of a difference it would make because. And look, I think Russ played really well towards the end of last year, but I just don't see how it works with LeBron. Anthony Davis insists on playing a lot of 4. They're going to have a traditional center. To me, every time now it's been however many straight off seasons Russell Westbrook has gotten traded, 3 straight, I guess. Every time I get to see that Russell Westbrook has been traded to someplace not the Knicks, there is a little part of me that just becomes so happy on the inside. So thank God another year without Russell Westbrook on the Knicks. I'm very happy about that. As for the Lakers end of it, again, what do they have to lose? I guess I don't know. And Washington, the Washington angle of it is interesting to me because I get that. Well, let me just take a step back. They're not opening up any cap space with this trade. They're opening up future cap space for 2022. And the tweet that Bobby Marks Woj sent out, and then I think Bobby Marks followed up on it after the trade, was basically implying that they were going to try to convince Bradley Beal to stay by saying look, we have all this cap space in a year where we're going to be able to do stuff with it. They're going to suck this season. Like if they get to the trade deadline and they're in like 12th place in the East, is Bradley Beal gonna be like, yeah, sure, I'm not gonna demand a trade, or I guess I don't know, maybe he'll just play it out and he'll enter free agency, and that's what's gonna happen. But I don't know that this. I don't know. To me, it doesn't affect. To me, here actually, let me say this. I think if you're someone who wants Bradley Beal in the Knicks, I think the trade today and the news that Bradley Beal is still committed to Washington is probably a good news for you, because the Knicks are not in position to trade for Bradley Beal right now. The Knicks, if anything, will be in a much better position to trade for Bradley Beal at the trade deadline, or sometime several months from now. So to that end, it's probably a good day for the Knicks. Okay, so they're showing Sengun. I know the pick is Sengun. Senjin. I'm sorry, I don't know. I don't speak Turkish. So that means we have 2 picks left. Okay, so let's just recap. Assuming Senjun is indeed the pick here at 16, that means we have New Orleans in effect picking at 17, and then Oklahoma City again at 18. Best players on the board. I'd probably go Trey Murphy, Jaden Springer. Sorry, not Jaden Springer. Jared Butler. There's Senjun. So Butler, Murphy, Jackson. So that means one of Butler, Murphy, or Jackson will be there for the Knicks at 19. I think I'm okay with that. I know if we select Jackson, a lot of people are going to lose their shit. Let me, since it's probably not going to be the pick anyway, let me make my quick case for Jackson. First of all, I would say listen to the podcast that we did. Jeremy and I did. Was it Jeremy? No, I think it was Prez a few days ago, in which he went through a litany of statistics showing why Isaiah Jackson had like a really special season for Kentucky on the defensive end, and he could be a really special defensive player. Actually, first I'm going to take this super chat. Stephen Panish. Hello, Stephen. Thank you and the KFS team for all the hard work. All I ask is for a shout out to the best borough in New York City, the Bronx, and for you to say, oh my goodness, de lo mio. Me and all your proud Dominican fans would appreciate it. De lo mio. Did I say that correctly? I think I said de lo mio. I love the Bronx. I went to college in the Bronx. I worked a couple summers in the Bronx. The Bronx is awesome. I love the Bronx. What more can I say? The Bronx rocks. Great food in the Bronx. I did it. Okay. So Jackson, what I'm about to say is going to come off like a slight to Mitchell Robinson, but whether it's this summer or a year from now, if the Knicks want to keep Mitchell Robinson, they're going to have to pay Mitchell Robinson a lot of money to be whatever he's going to be. I think at this point, Mitchell Robinson profiles as someone who's going to be a really nice rim-running center and maybe a top 5 defensive center in the league if he really hits. He's going to cost them, I don't know, $12 million a year, $13 million a year, $14 million a year. If they draft Isaiah Jackson with the 19th pick, Isaiah Jackson's going to cost them roughly $12 or $13 million for the next 4 years combined. When you're talking about allocation of resources and just like where you should put your money, I don't know if Isaiah Jackson's not going to be a good NBA player, this is not a conversation to be had. But if the Knicks think Isaiah Jackson is going to be some facsimile of what Mitchell Robinson is on the defensive end, I don't know. Is that my man? No, that's not my man, Jason. Jason, what are you doing in here, man? Shouldn't you be doing something more important than sitting here watching me? Shout out to Jason Concepcion. Awesome to have you here, man. I'm a little. I'm gonna take a drink so people can't see me blushing. Anyway, the master is in the house. Got that right. So yeah, that would be my pitch for Isaiah Jackson. If he's there at 19, I don't think it's a bad pick. That said, I wonder if they wouldn't go Butler. First, I'm going to read the Super Chat comment. Frank Corona Jr. Even if the Knicks want Jackson, can't take him at 19. Hawks won't take him since they have Capella and Okongwu. No, they won't take him. Someone could trade up for him. But is anyone really going to trade up to take a center? Probably not. That's a good point. Okay. I definitely respect that. So, and on the flip side, if the Knicks really do like Butler, I could definitely see the Hawks wanting Butler as well. Because last year, Lou Williams was essentially their backup point guard. And I don't know, maybe they want to solidify that position. So good call there. So back to Butler. Why do I think the Knicks might like Butler? He is easily going, of all the players that are available on the board right now, he's easily going to make the best impact next year. I think that matters to them. He is, I think, arguably the best shooter on the board. I'm sure people are going to be like, no, that's not true at all. Bones Highland is hitting 30-footers, for VCU. I get that. But for me, Butler, just the fact that he's taken like big shots on like a national stage and like won the national championship and the whole thing, I think the Knicks would trust that he would be able to come in and be a significant upgrade for them immediately, just in terms of like a bench role player. I think they would trust the shooting. I think they would trust him on the court. So let me take a step back. There may be better shooters available right now, but I don't think the Knicks would have as much confidence if they selected one of those guys that he would have the well-rounded game to be able to actually get on the court for that shooting to make a difference. Whereas Butler, again, you could play Butler tomorrow. He's ready for the pros. He could defend at a pro level, the whole thing. Please take no offense if I remove your comment if it has spoilers, but I did ask nicely. Andrew, I don't know how long we're going to be able to stay spoiler free. This is insane. Just do me a favor, Andrew. Here, this is real time production, folks. Andrew, text me if I'm talking about someone that Woj or Shams or whoever the fuck has tweeted that has been picked ahead of the Knicks. Because then I'll stop talking about them because I don't want to waste anybody's time. So let's see. I've made my case for Butler. I made my case for Jackson. In terms of like what I know and what I've heard, I put it in the newsletter today, and I'll say it here, which is that I think they really do like Deuce McBride. Tom Thibodeau really likes McBride. Berman reported that. I think Wasserman may have reported that. There's Trey Murphy, of course, off the board. Not surprised. So now, wait, he's going to New Orleans. So New Orleans gets another floor spacing wing. So that's what they need. So that's a good move by New Orleans. Okay. Jason M. asked, who do you want the Knicks to take? Who do I want the Knicks to take? Butler. I want them to take Jared Butler. Jared Butler is probably never going to be a starting point guard in the league, but Jared Butler is going to play and help teams win for a fucking long time. That guy's a good basketball player. He's probably never going to be a great basketball player, but he's a really, really, really good basketball player. And I would like the Knicks to take a guy that I know is going to be a really good basketball player. That would be my pick. That said, I would be fine. Honestly, here's what this comes down to. I trust this front office, inherently, I trust this front office. I trust Walt Perrin. I trust Leon Rose to listen to the various opinions in the room. Yes, I do want them to take DeRozan. That's a good comment. Can they draft DeRozan? I don't know if he's available in the draft. My wife is coming downstairs. Hello.
Hi.
How are you?
Great.
Did you have a nice nap?
Yes.
Did you come down just because the Knicks are picking now?
Yeah,
Oh, you came down because that's very nice. My wife, I don't think, is going to grace us with her presence on screen. Probably not.
You're trying to say I look like shit.
No, I'm saying you won't. No. She's very embarrassed with the camera. She's camera shy, unlike my daughters, who I'm sure one of them will be up very soon. Anyway, what is this? I just got a message. Could be Cooper. I don't think it's going to be Cooper. Listen, I'm going to have egg on my face if this is fucking Sharif Cooper. I just don't think they're going to draft Cooper. But if they do, a lot of Knicks fans are going to be happy, and that's awesome. And by the way, I should say, if they do draft Sharif Cooper, I'll be fine with that too. I'll be fine with Cooper. I'll be fine with Jackson. I'll be fine with Butler. I'm trying to think if there's anybody that they could draft right now that I wouldn't be happy with. I would not be happy with Jalen Johnson. I want no part of Jalen Johnson. I mean, I don't think they draft Daron Sharp, but Cam Thomas. I completely forgot about Cam Thomas. I'd be thrilled if they drafted Cam Thomas. I like Cam Thomas a lot. If they draft Cam Thomas, that's going to be a really well kept secret, because no one has Cam Thomas going to the Knicks, and there hasn't been any reporting about Cam Thomas to the Knicks, but we'll see. Yeah, I mean, they could draft McBride at 19. I wouldn't be shocked. They could fucking draft Grimes. They could draft Mann. I'd be happy with all these guys because I like all of them, and I think they all have merit. Queen Mac. I don't know what you want to call her. Anyway. Andrew, can you at least tell me, has this pick been reported on Twitter? Oh, Keon, Matt Gioia asks about Keon Johnson. Keon Johnson's a guy I think I said on a podcast a week or two ago that I would be most happy if they drafted him, because it would tell me that they are committed to like investing in someone's development. And I think Keon Johnson has a chance to be a really special player. But I don't think they're going to do that. Again, who knows? Nothing about 18 yet. Wow. Okay. This is wild. Someone mentioned Josh Christopher. Josh Christopher, I think I could see at 32, if indeed they keep 32, but who knows? What I wonder if they make 19 and 21. This is something I haven't really talked about. Will there be an opportunity for them to trade 32 to a team, a really good team, for a first-round draft pick next year? I don't know what that team would be, but if there's like a good team that needs cheap labor and there's someone that they think could give it to them at 32, well, like a contender, give the Knicks a first-round pick for next year. I doubt it, but that would be, at this point, I'm going to look like an asshole because I've been very steadfast that I don't think the Knicks are going to make all these picks. And 18 was just announced. Oh boy. I wonder who it is. I don't know. I'm staying focused on the screens in front of me. This screen, me, staying focused on me, staying focused on that screen. I'm really curious. This is like nerve-wracking. Man, I did not think I'd be this nervous for this draft. But here I am. Go figure. Give me some other questions in the chat. Don't put spoilers in the chat, but give me some other questions in here. Someone said Isaiah Todd in the second round, sleeper pick. I was listening to who was talking about it? I forget who was talking about it, but yeah, Isaiah Todd's a nice player. I don't know again that he'd be on the Knicks radar. I wonder who created this kind of mystery. Someone asked for my thoughts on Garuba. My thoughts on Garuba is that Garuba might be the best defensive player in the draft, but he's not very polished offensively. And I'm trying to picture, or I'm trying to think about what this Knicks front office thinks that they need. And for as much as I could make the argument for Jackson, because Jackson, I could clearly see fitting in for them, because just because based on what Tom Thibodeau likes to do and what he's always done and what he showed us last year, I think the Knicks are setting themselves up to be a team with a really good drop big in the pick and roll that's going to be able to do that really well. Garuba's like a different type of defender. He's more, I think, he's going to be more of a switch guy. I just don't know if they would make the investment there. But more importantly than that, I could see the fit on offense with Jackson because we saw it with Mitch and Noel. More Mitch than Noel. I don't know that I could see the fit on offense as well with Garuba. And last thing on that is that Garuba seems like he's going to need to take some time to polish his offensive game. And I think Isaiah Jackson's going to be able to come in and, be a rim running big pretty quickly. John, check your phone. What am I checking my phone for? Okay, Trey Mann to the Oklahoma City Thunder. The Knicks have traded their pick. The Knicks traded out. Okay. Do we know what they traded? The Knicks are trading the 19th pick to Charlotte for a future first-round pick. This is great. This is great. I just said this a few minutes ago. What I'd like them to do, except I said a few minutes ago that I'd like for them to trade for a future first-round pick for a team that's a very good team. I don't think Charlotte's a very good team. I think Charlotte sucks. I think LaMelo Ball is a very special player, but I don't see any path where Charlotte is like so now we just need to know the protections on the pick. Someone mentioned in the super chat, Orlando Alpizar. What do you know or have heard about regarding Butler's medicals? I thought I saw it mentioned somewhere. Yeah, he was cleared by the NBA. He had a heart issue. The NBA cleared him, and that was that. So wait, now can I look at my phone now? Andrew, am I allowed to? So they get, as Keith Smith just pointed out on Twitter, the Knicks get $2.7 million more in cap space this summer. Charlotte's going to take Kai Jones with the pick. Okay, great for Charlotte. Okay, that's just Woj talking about Kai Jones. Jason M. All the wings the Knicks wanted are gone. Great move to trade the pick. I just want to know what the protections are because the protections to me are key. If this is lottery protected next year and the year after and the year after, and then it turns into 2 second-round picks, I will be slightly less of a fan. If this is like top 10 protected next year and then top 5 protected the year after, and then it's like unprotected, I don't think that's going to be the case. But so here's the good news. The Knicks currently employ the master of the pick protection in the NBA, Mr. Brock Aller, which, by the way, how about this? You can purchase your, Brock Hard t-shirt? What are we selling? We're selling a Brock Hard t-shirt on the Knicks Film School shop on TeePublic. Yes. It says Brock Hard with a big penis. No, it doesn't.
Sure?
There's no penis on the shirt.
Oh my God.
Do you want there to be a penis on the shirt?
No.
Okay, there's no penis on the shirt. Anyway, but we do sell a Brock Hard t-shirt, and we should all go run out and purchase that shirt because this has the makings of a Brock Aller trade all over it. I can't wait to see it. I haven't been this excited to see something in this world since my last child was born. I want to see these pick protections. That's all I want to see. Is Jeremy explaining the capology of all this? There's nothing to explain. I'm checking my text chain too. There's nothing to explain. The Knicks saved themselves some money this year because they don't have to pay a draft pick. And they get a future pick. This all comes down to the protections for me. To me, all joking aside, Richard Jefferson's a clown. Why do we even? So they stuck Richard Jefferson up there with Rachel Nichols in a box, far away from everybody where they can't offend anybody. Good job, ESPN. Okay. So. Andrew, I saw who the 20th pick is. Can I talk about it? Perk is worse. Perk is I don't know. Richard Jefferson's the worst. Perk is like slightly after that. So it looks like it's going to be Jalen Johnson at 20. So again, if you believe the fact that the Knicks were never interested in Kai Jones, and if you believe the fact that the Knicks were never interested in Jalen Johnson, this is great for the Knicks because no, they don't have one of the wings on the board that they wanted, but I do still think that they have their pick of one of several players that they like. Manny Ortiz asks, just for a single first rounder, why? Because there's nobody the Knicks wanted right now, and they don't want to take multiple rookies into camp. And they probably think the other part of this, my guess, would be this has a little something to do with the fact that looking at their board right now, my guess is that the Knicks feel like they're not going to be able to get good value for 32, A, and B, they are going to have someone still available to them at 32 that they really like. So, hold on for a second. So right now, there are 10, 11 picks until the Knicks pick at 32. Here are the players that are still on the board. I'm going to count them off. Keon Johnson, 1. Isaiah Jackson, 2. Jaden Springer, 3. Jared Butler, 4. Cam Thomas, 5. Bones Highland, 6. Quentin Grimes, 7. Deuce McBride, 8. Sharif Cooper, 9. Ayu Dosunmu, I hope I pronounced that correctly, 10. Josh Christopher, 11. That's 11 guys I feel like if the Knicks were forced into taking at 32, they would probably feel okay about. I'm sure they would like some of those guys more than others, but my guess is that they're going to be more than comfortable with whoever falls to them for 32. So again, if you're the Knicks and you went into I'm not looking at my phone, I'm not looking at anything. Don't type anything in the chat. So this is the pick, right? This is our pick. No, this is not our pick. This is the other fucking pick. So I'm not paying attention to this. I thought this was 21 for a second. Don Cappuccini asks, could you see them trading pick 32 for a future similar to pick 19? I mean, maybe if the value is there, but again, my guess is that, look, we know from reading everybody's reports, the Knicks have been all over the phones all week. They had an idea going into tonight of what deals were available, which is a great position to put Brock Aller in. They know where they're going to extract the most value. In their judgment, I think, and look, they could still trade 32, and if the right value is there to trade 32, they'll trade 32. But my guess is that they didn't like the value in terms of keeping 32 versus trading 32, as opposed to keeping 19, trading 19. And my guess is because they looked at the players that were on their board, and I don't know where the drop-off came. I don't know if the drop-off was after Duarte. I don't know if the drop-off was after Murphy. But the drop-off was somewhere, such that, as a few people have mentioned, once their last wing that they were interested, maybe it was Kispert, once that last wing went off the board and they knew they couldn't get that big shooting wing, they said, fuck it. Let's make sure we just only have to make 2 picks. And the rest of the guys on their board were pretty much put them in a hat, pick out 2 names, and it's 6 of one, half dozen of the other. Obviously, I'm being a little facetious, but something to that effect. And I think they extracted the most value from whichever asset they could, which was the 19th pick for a future first. Again, I want to see the protections. I want to see, because again, everything I'm saying not goes out the window, but if this is a 2022 lottery protected pick that turns into 2 seconds if it doesn't convey next year, I'm going to be a lot less impressed with this trade. Again, we'll see what the protections are. Abdoulaye Diallo. You've commented in the super chat before, and I've gotten your name better before, so I apologize for butchering it now. Can't even speak. This is also a great pick to include in a trade. A future first is always better than a player. Thank you, sir, Mr. Diallo. Again, I'm sorry if I sound like a broken record here. I've said this on podcasts. I've written this in newsletters. Everything the Knicks are doing from today until the day when they pull off the trade that we know they are eventually going to pull off is geared towards accumulating assets for said trade. That's all this is about. That's all Leon Rose cares about. This is all small potatoes for him. So if you could drop another first-round pick in the bucket for them to use in that trade, it's going to be a hell of a lot more valuable. Like, yes, could you have taken 3 rookies and those 3 rookies all matriculated into good young players? Sure, it's possible, but for that to happen, those players need to see the court. There is no universe, none, where those 3 players would see the court. Forget about next year, but the year after that as well. Zero chance. So for anybody who's like, you're trading for a future thing, we don't know what the future's going to bring, you could have had this player right now. There was never going to be a world where the Knicks were going to play 3 rookies this year or next year. Not going to happen. And that's not even a commentary on their approach to free agency or the wisdom of what they're going to do. They have 2 second-year players coming up on their roster that we know are going to get time in Obi Toppin and Emmanuel Quickley. They have another young player in R.J. Barrett, who is more of a veteran at this point, but still young player. And those are 3 of their 8 1 through 4 positions. We know Julius Randle isn't going anywhere. We know they're not going to start a rookie at point guard. We know they need veteran shooting. It's like there's just no room, which is, again, why the idea of Jackson still somewhat intrigues me, because at least Jackson is a rookie that you could take and he might be able to play next year. Or I guess for that matter, Garuba, but, we'll see. Do you have any questions? No? They pick at 21. That's your question? Good question. I'm glad you're enjoying this. This is fun. This is a good thing. You miss this?
Yeah.
My wife's into some kinky shit. Let me tell you, man. Really. Okay. Did we just trade for LiAngelo Ball? I hope not. Here's the question. I'm going to have a scotch after they make their pick. Is it going to be a happy scotch or is it going to be an angry scotch? I actually don't think I could have an angry scotch. There's literally no pick that they can make right now that I would be like really, truly upset about. Maybe like Day'Ron Sharp. I don't know. Maybe Day'Ron Sharp. My brother just texted me. I'm not going to look at the text. Do you want to look at the text?
Sure.
Here, you can look at it. Do you want to have a scotch with me tonight?
No.
Why not?
Because I have to take care of 2 children.
They're sleeping.
Yeah, they're going to wake up.
Let me ask the chat that wouldn't be a Macri live stream without entirely too much information being shared.
I don't know what happened, but
No, don't read it out loud.
I'm not reading it out loud, but I don't know.
Just is it about? See, my wife is a lovely life partner. As a wingman on live streams, she's fucking useless. Joel J.
Wait,
John. What? Andrew just texted me. Why don't you read Andrew's text? Joel J. John, I love the move.
Oh wait.
I don't know what move you're even referencing, but sure.
Wait, Andrew, I can't get your text.
Do you not know how to work an iPhone? Anyway. Ugh, I can't take this stress.
Oh, I can read this out loud, Andrew said.
Oh, okay.
Source confirms Knicks move number 19 to Charlotte.
Oh, give me this. For a future pick, Knicks checked in on teams near Indiana at number 13 with Chris Duarte in mind. They also like Kispert, Trey Murphy, and Trey Mann. All were off the board by the 19th pick. The fact that Trey Mann was listed there makes me very happy, because Trey Mann was the guy who I've been touting this whole draft process as I'm like, why is he not a lottery pick? And the fact that the Knicks like him makes me feel smart. I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. That's really interesting. So this is really fascinating. I wonder if they would have taken. I guess they would have taken Mann if he was there at 19. That is what would seem that Ian Begley is implying. Can you do me a favor?
Yeah.
Can you get me a cup with ice, a glass with ice, preferably? Thank you. Love you. Okay, so that's interesting. Oh, did I? There's in the dishwasher. There's clean glasses in the dishwasher. This is some behind the scenes, real life shit, folks. Do I want a KFS mug? Here, let me ask the chat. Should I drink my whiskey tonight out of a KFS mug? Sure. Why not? The brand is strong, right? The brand is strong. We have no, yes, no. Ray says yes. If Ray says yes, that's all I need to know. Ray said it's the only approval that I need. Thank you. That's a lot of ice. That's a lot of ice even for me. Okay, so the pick is in? No, we have 4 minutes left. So I have to sit here and wait for 4 minutes. All right, I'm going to sit and wait for 4 minutes. I'm going to see this reaction live. Man, there's so many directions that they could go. All right, let me quickly rank my order of preference. Spencer texted me a bit ago. Why trade? No. I'm gonna have to text him back real quick. I really want to see what these protections are. Okay, so here's my order of preference. If you're asking me what me, Jonathan Macri wants them to do, so in order. I'm gonna zig on what I said a few minutes ago. I would say Keon Johnson first, Jared Butler second. Oh man, I don't know. Jared Butler, Keon Johnson would be 1 and 2. Do I want to go Cam Thomas 3? Do like Cam Thomas. So let's go Cam Thomas 3. Let's go Deuce McBride 4. Let's go Sharif Cooper. I'm ignoring whatever tweet that just was. Get away. What did I get to? Deuce McBride 4. Sharif Cooper 5. Isaiah Jackson 6. Okay, that seems like a good order. Bones Highland 7, Quentin Grimes 8. I don't know. See, like these guys, you could throw them all in a. Oh, I didn't even say Jaden Springer. Jaden Springer should be. I would be so okay with any of these picks. But I gotta say the notion of them taking Keon Johnson here would be really. I don't think there's a chance in the world that they do it. But if they took Keon Johnson, that would be. Man, that would be wild. That'd be some wild and wacky stuff. But I think it's going to be either Butler or Jackson. So we'll see. And on that note, I know what I'm going to break open. Ray. You looking, Ray? Going to have this ready for when they make the pick. You sure I can't interest you in this? No, thank you. This is Starlight Distillery's Old Rick House Huber's Double Oaked Rye Whiskey. That is what we are drinking tonight. For this pick. Andrew Claudio says he'd be fine with Sharif Cooper. Okay. I mean, yeah, Cooper's fine. Like Cooper. Is the pick not in yet? I guess the pick isn't in, but who knows? By the way, shout out to all 719 people watching, and wait for it, all 69 people who gave a thumbs up. Oh, now we're off of 69. A 70th person has given a thumbs up. Why would you ruin that? I kind of wanted to keep it there. What?
Nothing.
What? Do you know who the pick is?
Yeah.
What do you think my reaction is going to be?
I don't any podcasts. I don't know what you want to happen.
You're not just listening to me now?
Well, you're gonna find out.
My wife has a look on her face. Oh wait, Andrew Claudio's calling me. Hey, Andrew. What's going on? This is Andrew Claudio, my producer.
Hi, everybody. So this whole plan of getting John's live reaction to 2 picks at 19 and 21 completely backfired because the Knicks have also traded the 21st pick in the draft to Detroit, it looks like.
For what?
It just says to Detroit is the pick, is the notification at least. So I figured I'd just kill all suspense because the Knicks traded all suspense. They have traded, let's see, sources. Clippers are selecting 21 via Knicks. How did they? Okay, so Woj says that the Knicks traded to Detroit, and then Sean says Clippers are selecting at number 21 via Knicks and take Keon Johnson. Sorry, spoilers, everybody, but I don't care if it's not the Knicks. So the Knicks end up not taking anybody.
Well, but Keon Johnson was the pick.
Yeah, so.
Okay, but again, I want to see what they got for it.
So I'm now lifting all restrictions. You can have your phone. You can check alerts. Thank you for cooperating, both you and everybody in the chat.
Wait, are we not staying around for?
I'm just saying. Oh, the Knicks now have pick number 25.
The Knicks now have 25. What did they get for the right to move down to 25?
Hold on.
New York is trading with Clippers for number 20. Oh, so okay. Yeah, New York has 25. Here we go. Oh, we got the protections. Okay.
All right, take it from here.
I'll take it from here. All right. Bye-bye. I don't know how much I love these protections. Okay, the pick protections. Next year protected 1 to 18. 2023 protected 1 to 16. 2024 and 2025 lottery protected will turn into 2 future seconds if not conveyed by 2025. All right, let me process this for a second. So clearly, the Knicks do, I don't think. Oh, wait, here we go. Clippers will send number 25 and a future second per source. Okay. We'll have to figure out what second that is that the Knicks are getting in exchange for going from 21 to 25. I am going to go ahead and look up what picks the Clippers own, and then we'll get back to the pick protection thing. Future. Okay. All right, so the Clippers, here's what the Clippers could have potentially traded to the Knicks for the right to move down 4 spots. The Clippers had a very heavily protected 2022 Sacramento pick. That's not it. 2024 second rounder from Detroit, 2025 second rounder from Detroit, 2026 second rounder from Detroit. So it could be any of those, or it could be, do they have all of their own seconds? They have all of their own seconds except for a 2027. I just saw that Isaiah Jackson is being selected at 22. Okay, what is going on? The Detroit part of the deal. Oh, it's a Detroit second round pick in 2024 that the Clippers own, so that's a deal. Okay. All right. So let's process this after we read the Super Chat comment. Sekou Burmis, the draft is all foreplay and no climax. Please tell me there's a big trade coming. No, I don't think there's a big trade coming. I just don't think the Knicks liked any of these guys that are on the board. Or, again, what I said a few minutes ago, I don't think the Knicks liked any of these guys that are on the board that much more than the other guys that they had on the board, and they didn't mind moving down. So let's go backwards. The pick the Knicks picked up from Detroit is a 2024 second-round pick. So Detroit, that is how many years away? Next season is 21-22, 22-23, 22. So in 3 years. So what are the Detroit Pistons going to be like in 3 years? I guess that depends on how good you think Cade Cunningham is going to be. It's probably, I mean, like, I don't know, what can you count on that pick being? You can count on it being the 40th pick, the 45th pick? I have no idea. So they traded down 4 spots for I will generously call a middling second round pick. Is that a good trade? Not on its face. No, it's not a great trade. But again, it clearly means that they really have no interest in anyone in particular right now, which is interesting. Oh, this is the Lakers pick. So Lakers, this is Isaiah Jackson for the Lakers. Okay. Let me get back to the pick protections because that's what I'm really, really curious about here. Okay. If I could pull it up. Oh, Isaiah Jackson's being traded to Indiana. We know. Okay. So let's get back to the protections. So 1 to 18 next year, 1 to 16 the following year, and then lottery protected for 2 years in a row. So my guess is that the Knicks are anticipating this pick will probably convey in either 2023 or 2024. The reason why I like the trade is because they are betting on organizational history with Charlotte. So Charlotte has done a very, 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 very good job throughout their history of being mediocre. I think the Hornets have never finished with someone could remind me, when's the last time the Hornets, since they've been in Charlotte, finished with a top 10 record in the NBA? I don't think they have in a very long time, or at least not since Michael Jordan has become the owner. So my guess is that the Knicks feel like they are essentially trading the 19th pick this year for the equivalent of the 19th, 20th, 21st pick, maybe a little bit better, maybe a little bit worse, about 2 years from now. Because, again, I don't think the pick is going to convey next year. Aaron Holiday is on the move for the Isaiah Jackson selection, so that's interesting. It's kicking the can down the road. It's kicking the can down the road because they didn't like what was on the board. And again, if you didn't know they didn't like what was on the board, look at the trade. Look at the second trade that they just made to prove that they didn't like what was on the board. I will say this. I am a much bigger fan of the trade out of 19 than I am the trade down from 21 to 25. Although my gut feeling is that they really were just very indifferent to the players that were on the board at 21. Or they had some intel on who was going to be there at 25. Can I take a sip of my scotch?
Nothing, no.
I have to wait?
You have to wait until the 25th pick. There's nothing to drink right now.
There's 2 trades to drink to.
No, you gotta wait.
Okay. My wife is telling me I can't have a sip of my scotch yet. This has been quite an evening. And by the way, cheers, Ray. Oh, God, that's delicious. You want to taste? That's really good. Anyway, this is... I just got a message from someone. Interesting. Very interesting. So let me take a step back. I think people are probably going to be not happy with what they did tonight, which is interesting because it kind of confirms to me that this front office doesn't really care much about perception, which I kind of like. I don't think they cared about perception last free agency period. Clearly, they didn't care about perception with the Quickly pick because everybody had him mocked in the second round. I don't know. I kind of like that. I mean, obviously, 2 picks in this area, and you're going to wind up walking away with, 25 and 32, if that. people are going to not be thrilled. If you're one of those people who is not thrilled, that's fair. But I also would encourage you to look on the other side of the coin there and at least embrace the fact that, at the very least, the previous front office cared wildly, a large deal about perception, to the point where I would even argue that perception may have dictated some of the moves that they made. But I digress. The fact that this front office doesn't seem to care about that, I kind of like. Will it work out? We'll see. I really wish. I wish the protections on like the last year on that Charlotte pick were like top 8 and not top 14. But the notion that it could convey. But here's the thing, right? And let me actually lean back on this before I get ahead of myself. The Knicks are never going to make that pick. The value of the pick is in what it appears in a trade to another team, because they are going to trade it at some point to some team for someone. And I think they feel like with the protections that are on the pick is a marketable enough asset that some team is going to want it, which is pretty cool. And it also sets them up right now for having 3 picks in the 2023 draft, because again, I don't think the pick is going to convey next year. So is that going to be the double draft? Probably not. But I think it's still looked at as a pretty good draft. In any case. Okay, so let's reassess the board, as it were. Hold on. Where am I here? Let me pull up my trusty draft list. And Andrew, feel free to message me with anything that I need to know. But okay, here's who is still on the board. So this is the pick that's being traded. I can't keep anything straight. There's Garuba. Did I know the Garuba was being taken? I don't even know if I knew the Garuba was being taken. What pick is this? Is it 23rd pick? This is 23rd pick. Okay. I really don't know what the hell's going on anymore. Okay. So I think Usman Garuba was just picked 23rd in the draft. 23. Thank you, everybody. So that means who's still on the board for the Knicks? Jaden Springer, Jared Butler, Cam Thomas, Bones Highland, Quentin Grimes, Sharif Cooper, Deuce McBride. That's not a bad group. It is, however, I believe, all guards, unless I missed something. We have a Mark Berman tweet. This is Brock Aller at his best. Think they would have taken point guard Trey Mann at 19 or 21 and traded the other, but he was surprisingly taken at 18. Man, if they walked away, now I'm a little bummed they're not getting Trey Mann. Fuck, I really like Trey Mann. Oh well. Watch Trey Mann go on to become the fucking steal of this draft. Okay. I think I could say this because it's not our pick. The Rockets are taking Josh Christopher at 24. So all the players that I just named are still on the board. So 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. So we have 2 picks of the next 8. Are there 8 players that we really like here? I think there are. Springer, Butler, Cam, Bones, Quentin Grimes, Cooper, Deuce McBride. A 7. That's 7. Oh, and Ayai. Now, of those players that I just named, every one of them is a guard. They could sneak in for Day'Ron Sharpe, but Day'Ron Sharpe has also been linked to Brooklyn, so that's probably not going to happen. Okay, so I guess now the question becomes, will the Knicks select 2 guards? Brandon Boston Jr., I should mention also, but I would they select BJ Boston? I don't know. I haven't got any read on that. We haven't heard any buzz about BJ Boston in the Knicks, but doesn't mean it's not going to happen. JT Thor, somebody just mentioned. Yeah, that's a good one. JT Thor is a big man. I don't know. Could I see them taking? So they're gonna have a new starting point guard. I think Derrick Rose is gonna be back. RJ Barrett's not going anywhere. Emmanuel Quickley's not going anywhere. They're gonna have some kind of good wing. To select two guards, I don't know how they would select two guards because one of them is not going to play this next year. And the way it's set up, for if even one of them were to play next year, be part of the rotation next year, that would mean that Derrick Rose is probably not going to be back. Or Derrick Rose is going to be the starter. And I don't think Derrick Rose is going to be the starter. Is it possible? Just spouting off the top of my head here. Is it possible? Oh, wait. Oh, I've been spoiled. I've been spoiled. Did you see? Okay. I'll save my reaction. I'll pretend I didn't see it. Well, anyway, I was talking about two guards. So let's assume this pick is a guard. For this guard to get time in the rotation, that would mean that something kind of kooky would need to happen. Because especially if it's a guard that is not a point guard, theoretically they would need to get time over RJ Barrett or Emmanuel Quickley, unless the team is planning on playing Emmanuel Quickley more at backup point guard this year. I could see that. Wouldn't be that crazy to me. But I don't know. I mean, and this is, again, when you look at who's on the board, and you look at like what else they could have done and all that stuff, it's not surprising to me in the least that once those wings were off the board, they decided to kick the can down the road. It made sense for them. This team has one significant area of need that there's not an obvious way to address it in free agency, and that's the wing. And there's no good wings left right now, worth taking at this spot at least. So once the wings were gone, kick the can down the road. I think Keith Smith just gave us a nice compliment. Nice night for the Knicks. They created some extra cap space and got a productive player. That's good. Here, can I? I don't know if I'm allowed to say Spencer Proman's reaction to this pick, but I will just say that it is somewhat indifferent. I am going to retweet this as soon as they actually make the pick. Can I say it, Andrew? Am I allowed to say it? Because I know who it is. I won't say it, just in case anybody on here is watching live and doesn't want to spoil it for them. But I will say that I like this player, and I think he does have a chance to actually play next year because going back to what I think I said earlier and what I've been saying for, again, I don't know how long I've been saying it, they're going to pick a guy, if anyone's going to play for them next year that they pick in the draft tonight, it's going to be someone who could shoot, and it's going to be someone who could defend. That's it. There was no world where anybody they picked that was going to be in the rotation next year was not going to be able to shoot and was not a defender. So assuming they pick someone who could shoot and can defend, I at least could sit here and be like, yeah, there's a chance this person is going to be in the rotation next year. Although sitting here right now, I'm not 100% sure I'd bet on that, but we'll see. We all know. Does everybody know? Okay, I guess everybody knows. No, I have to honor the process. Uh-oh. I just heard a baby make a noise. Okay, here we go. Now I can react. Oh. Wait, this isn't even is this even the pick that the Knicks are making that's on TV right now? I'm so confused. Wow. Adam Silver's got jokes. That's pretty great. Okay, that's the Christopher pick. Okay, so I'm a full pick behind still. That's good to know. So we have a Jeremy tweet. I will read this out loud. John, you're good. It's been spoiled in the chat. The Knicks already have a ridiculous amount of cap space this summer, but trading the 19th pick just saved New York an estimated $1.8 million in cap space this year and about $2 million next year. Okay, so I guess I could say it's Quentin Grimes. I like Quentin Grimes. Again, Quentin Grimes, for anyone who doesn't know, he's a two-guard. He is, again, a shooter. He could defend. He's a guy that's taken a bit of a winding road, I think, to get to this point in his career. But he's good. I will just read the tweet that I'm about to send off, courtesy of Spencer's Company. A ball handler who brings advantage creation via pull-up craft, point of attack defense, and team off-ball defense. Okay, so we have our defense and we have our shooting. Measurables. So Quentin Grimes, what's going on? Quentin Grimes listed as a shooting guard. He is 6'5", but he has a 6'8" wingspan. Not great, but fine. He's 21 years old, a little on the older side. He was born 2 days before my birthday. He was born on May 8th, so shout out to him for that. And he's a junior. I think I said that. Numbers last year, 18 points a game, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, 40% from three, made a shit ton of threes. So the big thing with Quentin Grimes, his 3-point attempt rate last year at Houston was almost 40%. Didn't get to the line a lot, which you don't love to see from a two-guard, but he did take a ton of threes. Oh, look, Reggie Bullock's shouting out the Knicks' newest draft pick on Twitter. You love to see the guy who Quentin Grimes, whose job he might be taking, giving him a shout out on Twitter. That's really nice. I don't think this is going to influence the Knicks. I don't think this is going to influence the Knicks' decision to bring back Reggie Bullock or not. Hold on, I see some stuff from Andrew in the chat. No, because here's the thing. You could think Quentin Grimes is the greatest thing since sliced bread. The notion that a rookie is going to come in and play significant minutes for a team that went to the playoffs last year as a starter or like something to that level is crazy. Reggie Bullock was their starting small forward last year. At this point, I would be – all right, there it is. I'm like 50-50 that Bullock is going to be back as their starter next year, mostly because I don't see an obvious replacement. I don't think the Knicks are going to be heavily in on Norm Powell. I think a lot of the Kelly Oubre Jr. noise was just that. I think it was just noise. I think it was smoke. I don't see where's the obvious guy that they're going to bring in to be their starting shooting guard, unless they trade for one, which, crazier things have happened. But I would count on Reggie Bullock being back. I would count on Reggie Bullock still playing a significant role. But is there a chance that Quentin Grimes, is there backup? I mean, he's 21 years old. So if you're going to draft a 21-year-old in the first round, the guy should at least probably have a chance to play. I'm listening to what Jay Billis is saying about Quentin Grimes. All I call it was he could play. That's good to know, Jay, that he could play. I love that. He could play. The guy we just took could play. I don't know how to feel about this draft night. I feel okay about it. I inherently like the notion that they are trying to capitalize on the assets they have and just, it shows competence as a front office. I think here's how I would look at this is the hell? Hold on here. Kevin, what the hell was that? Hold on, I have to check something real quick. But I'm going to talk through it. So I think my overall takeaway, as I'm still processing what's going on, is regardless of if they took a player that you like, if they didn't take a player that you love, If you think they got decent value for the trade, if you think they got terrible value for the trade, any of that stuff. The fact is that this front office is not playing checkers. They're playing chess. They were put in a situation where very clearly I don't think it was ideal for them. And I think they extracted the most value that they could given the situation. To expect them or ask them to do anything else would basically be asking them to divert from their organizational course of action. And I kind of like that they have an organizational course of action. We'll see how it works out. But the last thing I'll say on this, and then I'm going to get to some questions in the chat, and then that'll take us to 32, and then I'm going to get out of here. It's one thing if your organizational course of action is I'm not going to get into a whole Porzingis trade discussion right now, but it's one thing if your organizational course of action is we need to open up as much cap space as possible because there's a chance that these players might, grace us with their presence. Let's make, this earth-shattering move, and do that, and then we'll keep our fingers crossed and hope for the best. And if it doesn't work out, well, we're kind of fucked. We know that's not the reality. We know it was the right move for them to get Porzingis out of here. I'm not criticizing that, but I think if you are honest with yourself and you look at the way that the previous front office went about their organizational course of action, and you look at the way that this front office is going about their course of action, with clearly the same goal in mind, by the way. The goal is 100% the same, as is the goal of most teams in the NBA. We want to bring in a star. I guess I have a little bit more faith in, I have a little bit more confidence in, and I have mostly just a lot more respect for the way this front office is going about their business. Because they're doing it in a calculated manner, and they're not, they didn't go into tonight and being oh shit, we couldn't trade up. Let's just take some kids that are the highest on our board and we'll hope for the best. I don't think that's what a smart organization does. Again, you could quibble about the value that they got. You could quibble about the player they took. You could quibble about the players they didn't take. I like the approach, and I'm comfortable with how they went about it. That's my 2 cents. You could agree, you could disagree. And again, somebody wrote in here, Abe, I'll be dead when this pick matters. They didn't trade tonight to make a pick they didn't trade for a pick that they're planning on making. So you shouldn't think about it like that. You should think about it as part of a bigger picture. Now, you can only kick the can down the road so much. Eventually, you have to pay the piper and, put your money where your mouth is. And I think as we're going to find out with Oklahoma City, with Houston, with who else has all the picks, New Orleans, these future picks, there's a law of diminishing returns is at play here. So you can only have so many, and you can only kick the can down the road so far. That's definitely a valid concern. It's definitely a valid criticism. But I'm cool with it. You may not be, but I am. So, okay. Okay. Any other thoughts? I will happily take any questions from the chat. Okay. So we have Yanks 84. Deuce, Bones, Cooper, Thomas were on the board. Deuce, Bones, Cooper, Thomas I'm pretty sure are still on the board. Again, you could quibble with the guy that they took, but I personally I have faith that they have done their homework, that they've done their scouting. And I think if you look at last year, they took quickly when a lot of people criticized that pick and quickly turned out to be a revelation. If they think Quentin Grimes is the guy, I'm cool with them thinking that Quentin Grimes is the guy. Jason M says this is very similar to the Emmanuel Quickley pick last year. Yeah, I would agree with that. They had their guy and they wanted him. Okay, so Bones Highland just went to Denver. That means Deuce McBride is still on the board. My one rock solid prediction in this morning's newsletter was that they were going to end up with Deuce McBride. We'll see if that actually comes to fruition. Shout out to Mark Berman. He had the Grimes thing. He didn't have the Grimes thing, but he wrote up Grimes recently. Just want to read a tweet from a couple of tweets from Jonathan Wasserman about the Knicks' latest draft pick, Quentin Grimes. So this is from late June. Grimes just looked in a different class during these two scrimmages, referencing two scrimmages at the Combine. 3 seasons ago, he was praised for versatility, criticized for a missing core and a bankable skill. Now he's a knockdown shooter and still has some ability to play, make, and defend. And then tonight, Jonathan Wasserman, who again knows way more about this shit than any of us, Grimes led Houston to a Final Four and then was clearly the best player on the floor during NBA Combine scrimmages. Went from versatile but missing a core strength to knockdown shooter who could add value as a secondary passer, perimeter defender. Seems like Jonathan Wasserman likes the pick. A tweet from, let's go with a tweet from our own Jeremy Cohen. Quentin Grimes this past season. 84th percentile in overall offense, 92nd percentile in transition, 86th percentile pick and roll ball handler, 70th percentile isolation. That's pretty good. 72nd percentile off screens, 81st percentile off handoff. Quentin Grimes, pretty good. And anything else? I saw one other thing that I don't see now, but oh yeah, Keith Smith shouted us out. Okay, look, I know there's people in the chat who aren't happy, but what can you do? I think this turned into an okay night. Not a great night, by no means a great night, but an okay night. So let's talk about, so how many picks do we have left to go before we get to 32? So Denver just picked. Somebody just tweeted at me, is it just me or is this Knicks draft an inexplicable abomination? I love people, man. I just I don't know what people wanted them to do, I guess. Like make picks on guys who aren't going to play next year? All right. Make a, like, try not to get value when, like, they know what their board is and they know who's going to be there. I don't know. Again, I respect what they did tonight. So let's talk about who's going to be there for them at 32, should they keep 32, which I don't know that they're going to. So what are we up to? This is the 27th pick coming up. Oh, so Brooklyn is taking Cam Thomas at 27. So I like Cam Thomas. I think Cam Thomas will fit right in on Brooklyn. If you watched Mike James for them this year, you'll know that Cam Thomas will fit right in for them. I don't know necessarily that they need Cam Thomas, but we'll see. So Cam Thomas is off the board, 27 to Brooklyn. That means that's definitely a child making a noise from upstairs. Door. Oh, okay. So we have 28, 29, 30, and 31. Let's look at who's on the board. So Bones is gone. So Cooper's still on the board. Deuce McBride's still on the board. Is Jared Butler still on the board? Am I going crazy? Jared Butler's still on the board, right? Just someone confirm that for me. Yes, Jared Butler's still on the board. Okay, so the guy that I said an hour ago, I think it seems like, that I wanted the Knicks to take at 19 is still on the board. Okay, so Butler's there, Cooper's there, McBride's there. And Ayai is there. No, sorry, not Ayai. Dosunmu. 28, 29, 30, 31. Okay. So there's a pretty good chance. So and BJ Boston for anybody who wants, and JT Thor, who I also like JT Thor. Okay, so there's some guy. Oh, and wait, Springer is still there too? Oh, wow. Springer as well. Shit. All right. So again, look at the chat. I see the chat now. I see. Okay. I kind of like this. I kind of like how this is setting up. I still don't know if they're going to keep the 32nd pick, but I like how it's setting up. I mean, there's good players here. And again, all of the players that I just mentioned, like you could have argued that they should have taken them at 19, and they're still here, and they're going to get one of them at 32. But I like the fact that it's going to be the 32nd pick, because it's probably then there's going to be less pressure on the guy to have to see time next year. I think there's probably going to be a little bit of pressure for them to play Quentin Grimes, whoever they take at 32. If they play him, they play him. If they don't play him, they don't play him. So Bronx Rivera in the super chat, is there a 3-way we can still grab at 32, or will they look to address, or a 3 that we could grab at 32, or will they look to address that in free agency? That's a great question. So here are the 3s on the board. Probably the next 3 on the board that's like a real 3. Kessler Edwards, who I know has some, there's some people out there who are fans of Kessler Edwards. Herbert Jones is a 3. No, he's not a 3. Yeah. So Kessler Edwards was probably Kessler in terms of the guys that the Knicks have allegedly were allegedly targeting as far as guys who could play the 3. I think Kessler Edwards out of what is he out of Pepperdine? Pepperdine is probably the guy that you're looking at. I don't know that he's great value at 32, but who knows? Maybe they trade down again. Nothing would shock me. We'll see. I don't know. It wouldn't surprise me if they traded down again. It also wouldn't surprise me if they went and they got their guy. If that is indeed their guy. I have no idea who their guy is. Really, literally no idea. Although I have to say I'm really surprised that Butler is still on the board. Maybe the medical thing scared off teams. That could be it. Maybe the medical thing scared off teams. I can't imagine why else Butler would still be on the board, because Jared Butler is a really good player. But okay, let's look back in the. This is really good whiskey, by the way. Aaron Wiggins, I believe, is a Aaron Wiggins is a guard more than a wing, but we got Jason M. Cam Thomas is a bad fit in Brooklyn. He's not going to get his shots with KD, Harden, and Kyrie. It's probably a safe bet, but we'll see. Again, they could be taking him as a trade chip. Jonas Plout, will Fultz get linked to the Knicks now? I wrote something about that for tomorrow already. He'll probably get linked to the Knicks. I mean, ostensibly, Markelle Fultz is a starting point guard. He makes either $16.5 or $17 million next year. That's a lot of money for a guy coming off a torn ACL who does not space the floor, and you're still kind of waiting for proof of concept, at least at the pro level. I would be a little surprised if the Knicks took on Markelle Fultz. I could be wrong. We'll see, though. Vrenz. So we have some Vrenz chatter. Vrenz, I'm gonna screw up his name. I know the Knicks had him in for a workout recently, and but he's been in for a workout with like a ton of teams. Big wing. Blehenberg? Did I get that right? Blehenberg? I'm going to go with Blehenberg. Anyway, so that's my answer on Markel Fultz. Manny Ortiz, if teams gave us so little to move up, why didn't we give up a tiny bit to move up? I don't think that I don't look at what Charlotte gave up to trade for 19 as a little. I think they gave up a future first-round pick that's probably going to convey, and it's probably going to be a decent pick. In terms of, like, again, why the Knicks didn't move up, I think there was definitely a drop-off in this draft in terms of where the Knicks needed to get their guy. I think your argument is probably going to be with Trey Mann. Trey Mann going to 18th to Oklahoma City. If you're saying the Knicks should have given up whatever they needed to give up to trade up to 28th, or not 28th, excuse me, to 18th to grab Trey Mann, I think that's an argument. However, unless the pick was traded, and someone correct me if I'm wrong, that was Oklahoma City that we're going to be trading with. And like Oklahoma City, you see what they extract. They want an arm and a leg, and then, they'll get started on what else they want. So, who knows what they ask for. Anthony Sixto, any thoughts on how Vildoza looked at FIBA and how it may have influenced these draft choices? Is he basically a late rounder for us? I personally am not counting on Luka Vildoza to play a significant role with the team next year. Maybe he does. Maybe he surprises me. Based on what I've seen, based on what he clearly has some defensive issues. He clearly has some issues guarding the pick and roll. Almost all of his shots are from deep, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but I think he's like, he's an interesting piece. He's an interesting player. I'm not sure to pencil Luka Vildoza in for 20, 25 minutes a night is something that the Knicks are doing. I could be wrong, but I don't think the Knicks thought they were getting one thing when they signed Luka Vildoza, and in reality, they now have something else. I think he is what he is. But we'll see. The Knicks signed the guy for a reason. We'll see what he turns out to be. Good question, though. What else we got here? So Jaden Springer is going to go 28th to Philly. Okay. Jaden Springer, 28th to Philly. Wow. People are really not going to be happy about tonight on Twitter, are they? My God. This is going to be a fun newsletter to write for tomorrow. Jonathan Wasserman says Cam Thomas is a wealthy man's Dion Waiters. I like that. Yeah, I kind of would have liked Cam, but oh well. Okay. So Jaden Springer is off the board, a kid who had one of the widest ranges in the draft. Apparently he's healthier now. His ankle was not right. I know analytics people really like Jaden Springer. Draft Twitter, some members of Draft Twitter like Jaden Springer. We had a Zach Lowe update. As Woj just said on TV, it does not appear in canvassing the league that there will be any Ben Simmons trade tonight, or that the Sixers are close to one. We'll see how long this lingers. Man, with the Sixers asking price for fucking Ben Simmons, I can't say I'm surprised. But we'll see what happens. Okay. What else we got here? All right, so let's see who's still on the board. So that was the 28th pick. So we now have 3 picks to go until the Knicks draft. And the guy that I thought the Knicks wanted all along, Deuce McBride, is still on the board, along with Sharif Cooper, along with Jared Butler. There is, of course, a chance that those 3 players are the next 3 picks. But, man, if one of those guys is still on the board for the Knicks at 32, Jason M. says, my guys that are left, Sharif Cooper, McBride, Butler, Bassey. Bassey's, he's a name. Joe Wieskamp, Isaiah Livers. Severings. The Knicks really took the wind out of my sails tonight. Yeah, I think they took the wind out of a lot of people's sails tonight. Ellison says, so surprised Cooper is still available. Listen, if you've been paying attention to the reporting over the last several days, in particular the reporting from Jonathan Wasserman, who, again, shout out to Jonathan Wasserman, now 3-time KFS podcast guest. Jonathan Wasserman has been all over this for a week, more than a week probably, saying that Cooper's stock was falling. Teams are not as high on Sharife Cooper as the rest of us are. And again, coaches influence these decisions. You're asking a coach, if you're taking Sharife Cooper, to draft a guy who right now seems borderline unplayable on the defensive end. If you're looking at the guys who are going right now, and you look at like the picks that are being made, these are guys who at least have a chance to play like right away. I think there are a lot of teams out there who just don't know whether or not Cooper is going to have a chance to play right away because of between the defensive concerns and the shooting. I think that at some point, obviously, a smart team will draft Cooper, and they will be willing to go and take their lumps and just live through them. But I think if you look at the teams that have been picking, obviously, in the last several picks, these are teams that don't really have the opportunity to have a guy be a part of the rotation and take their lumps on an NBA court. So the question is, is one of these lesser teams who doesn't care about winning basketball games immediately going to feel comfortable taking Cooper? And I'm just, who's going to do that? I don't know. The Bucks now have the first pick of the second round. It's not going to be them. The Magic pick 33rd, but they have all the point guards in the world. Oklahoma City's sitting there at 34. So I would guess if I had to bet money right now, maybe Oklahoma City's the team that picks Cooper. And as has been rumored for several weeks, the Nets are going to pick Day'Ron Sharpe at 29. So this is the pick that they traded Landry Shamet for from Phoenix. So Day'Ron Sharpe is a center out of UNC. Highly recruited prospect. Had a bit of an underwhelming year, but apparently he hasn't done a lot over the last several weeks. There's been some speculation that he had a promise from someone or whatever. Well, clearly he's going in the first round to the Nets. So there are 3 guards on the board still for the Knicks: Jared Butler, Deuce McBride, and Sharife Cooper. Interesting. The Knicks are going to have their choice with one of those guys if they keep this pick. This is fascinating. I'm actually a little curious that Brooklyn, I know it's been rumored for a while. So I guess Brooklyn is going to go into next season with what's-his-face, Nick Claxton as their starting center, and they feel like they need a backup 5 for when they don't go small. And that's even assuming Blake Griffin is back. Okay, well, I guess they feel like Day'Ron Sharpe could walk in and play backup center minutes as a rookie, which maybe he can. Pretty clear that the Knicks did not value the center position in this draft, which that should make some people happy, especially if you want Mitchell Robinson to be here for the long term. There's some love for Dosunmu in the chat. Again, an option. They brought him in for a workout. Maybe they like him. We'll see. I think everybody that's on the board. So, Jared Butler, I know at the very least had dinner with the Knicks or something akin to dinner. I don't know if I'm pretty sure he didn't work out with them, but I'm not sure if he was even available to work out for teams because of the health issue. We never got any reports on Sharife Cooper working out with the Knicks, and we know obviously Deuce McBride did very much work out with the Knicks. We have another question in the Super Chat. D Zilla, Cooper the non-shooter, Deuce the Truth McBride, or Jared Butler, heart sufferer? Who do you like the most? I mean, again, I said it before. I think Butler's going to be a really good player. I think Butler's going to be really good, but I also think McBride's going to be really good. I'd be really happy with all three. I really would be happy with all three. But we'll see. Yeah, I think every NBA fan base right now is like, why is our team not taking Sharif Cooper? I get it. Wasserman likes the Sharp pick, so it's good. We have a trade. Utah has traded the number 30 pick to Memphis per source. I wonder if this is a Derek Favors salary dump. That's something else we could take from this draft. The Knicks, pretty clearly, barring anything else happening, we're not interested in taking on anybody's unwanted salary. Seems like they have some designs on their cap space. Again, you could respect what they're doing as an organization. You could think what they're doing as an organization is complete nonsense, but it is very clear that they are going to spend this upwards of $50 million or $40-something million in cap space, and that those are going to be the players taking up the rotation spots next year and not rookies. We have a pick for 30. Memphis is targeting, I don't know who this person is, Santi Aldama. If you know who Santi Aldama is, feel free to shout it out in the chat because I have no idea who this person is. I have never heard of this person before in my life. I have not watched tape on this person. I couldn't tell you if this person was a guard, a forward, a center, or a head coach. Zero idea. But that's the 30th pick in the draft. Spanish big. Okay, he's a Spanish big man. That's good to know. Apologies, folks. I can't give you the Santi Aldama scoop here. If this is what you were coming here for, then he's really good. Obviously, he's an international player. Tyler Michaels, he's really good. And then 2 seconds later, I'm kidding. I've never heard of him. We have La Cucaracha in the chat. That's very good. Spanish big, lots of potential. Went to a small school, so he didn't play much this year. Okay, interesting. Okay. 2 picks left, and then I'm out of here because I do have to write a newsletter for tomorrow on what the fuck happened tonight. I think we have to start following Quentin Grimes on Twitter. Apparently, yeah, here we go. Quentin Grimes, let's give you a nice follow. Let's give you a nice, let's put some notifications on. All right. Quentin Grimes seems happy to be a Knick. That's good. Oh, and even better, he was wearing Christian Louboutins. Can you see the red sole? He was wearing Louboutins for draft night. As someone who bought my mom a pair of Louboutins for her 70th birthday, I respect Quentin Grimes' draft day drip very much. In fact, if the Knicks drafted Quentin Grimes purely because he wore Louboutins tonight, I am totally fine with that. Just going to throw that out there. Okay, another super chat. Brian Carter. So now that we know the pick was Grimes, would you have rather had the draft we had tonight or package 19, 21, and Obi for Sexton? I never wanted to trade Obi. That was like my low-key biggest gripe with the Sexton trade idea. Aside from the fact that I don't think that trade was ever on the table. Like, let's go back for a second. Like, there was like somebody put that trade out there as like the rumored trade. There was never any confirmation about that trade from any source that I would consider reliable. It's pretty clear from the Ricky Rubio trade that the Cavs made. And thank you for asking this question because this is going to give me something to write about for tomorrow. It's pretty clear from the Ricky Rubio trade that the Cavs are, again, looking to win now. He went to Loyola, Maryland. Holy shit. Oh, that's awesome. Shout out to Loyola, Maryland. It's pretty clear the Cavs are looking to win, and I don't think they had any interest in 1921 and Obi Toppin for Colin Sexton. Putting that aside, am I happy that the Knicks did not trade for Colin Sexton? Yes, I am. I'll see what they do when, free agency is over. But like you guys know, I was never really a big on the Colin Sexton bandwagon. I would have talked myself into it because if it was really a low-risk flyer, it's like, okay, you do it. But I didn't like the financial aspect of it. And I'd rather see what they have in store for free agency. Now, my answer may change depending on what they do on Monday, but we'll see. Good question, though. Very good question. Okay. We have another pick, and then it's us. So, no, nothing yet. I don't know. Who do you guys want the Knicks to take? I'm going to ask the chat. Tell me who you want the Knicks to take. I'm assuming most people want the Knicks to take Sharif. But I could also see some Butler love, Deuce, Vrenz. I don't know much about Vrenz. I know who he is generally and like what he does. I don't know much about Vrenz. We got Deuce, Butler, Deuce, Cooper, Butler, Deuce, Cooper or Butler, Weiskamp. We got some Weiskamp love from Thomas Jones. Cooper or Vrenz, Cooper or Butler. All right. Deuce. It sounds like it's a pretty mixed bag. It sounds like it's kind of split evenly between the three guys. Just take Darko. Just take Darko. We got more Vrenz love. Bassie. We got some Bassie love. Listen, I like Bassie. I'm not sure if Bassie at 32 is quite the value that I want. Now, how much, oh my God, how much would it piss off Knicks draft Twitter if they traded down from 32 for like a future second or something for Bassie? That would be something. So the Wizards are taking Isaiah Todd. So then everybody that I just named is still on the board. The Utah trade. Save some money on what will likely be a very large tax bill by trading out of the first round. Utah picked up 40 this year and 2 future seconds from Memphis. So again, for anybody criticizing what the Knicks did, Utah just sent the 30th pick in the draft to Memphis for the 40th pick this year and 2 future second rounders. If you look at what the Knicks did in comparison to that, I don't know. I'm kind of okay with it. Or a little bit more okay with it. I don't know. I guess I like I really do like where their head is thinking on that Charlotte pick. And it's really because of what I think Charlotte is and more because of what I think Charlotte isn't. But again, that's probably a conversation for another day. BJ Boston, man, if they selected BJ Boston, that'd be wild. I'd be fine with BJ Boston. That's talk about a big swing. Fine with McBride. Okay, here we go. What real value? So Anthony Sixo just asked, what real value do second rounders have? It's just trade fodder. It is just trade fodder. But again, that's what the Knicks want. I think they want trade fodder. I think if you pay close attention to a lot of trades that get made, you'll see, like for instance, I'll give you a perfect example, right? So the trade that went down, the Russell Westbrook trade today, right? There were a couple of second rounders included in that trade, I believe, by Washington to make that happen. Now, why did Washington put those second rounders in? Because the Lakers were including a first round pick in the trade. And they were like, well, we don't want to put this first round pick in this trade without getting anything back. We need something from you. So Washington traded a couple second rounders. These are like what I call skid greasers. Like second round picks are basically the things you throw into the deal to get what you really want. Are second round picks by themselves ever going to have a ton of value? Are second round picks going to get you a superstar or even a decent player by themselves? No, of course they're not going to get you that. But they are the type of thing that can help you close a deal for a player or a whatever that you really want. That's my sales pitch on second rounders. Forgotten NYC. So is the Terrence Ross trade still on? My guess would be no. I know they talked about Ross. I'll have something in tomorrow's newsletter about a trade that I heard was at least discussed. My guess is it's a trade that Orlando turned down, but I don't know that for a fact. Yeah, so Richard Bourne Vanek points out, Mitch, not a decent player. Like, yeah, if you do make it, like, hey, look, there's a second round pick on the table right now. We think the Knicks are going to get a player that could be pretty good. Sharif Cooper, Jared Butler, Deuce McBride. So I would be careful, about poo-pooing second rounders as assets themselves. But I think more it's more for a trade five. All right. So Berman already has his article out about this pick. Wonder if that is anything interesting in there. I'm excited to see Grimes. Also, a reminder, we will be out in Vegas for Summer League. So hopefully Quentin Grimes can make his way out there and make his Knick debut in Summer League. That would be pretty cool. According to a source, this is from Mark Berman, the Knicks like Grimes' size, shooting, and toughness on defense. He was one of 3 NCAA players this season to hit 103 pointers, shot 40% from deep. We said all this already. Okay. Good stuff. Good stuff from Mark Berman. KFS, friend of the pod, Mark Berman. All right, still waiting to see who this pick is going to be. I'm excited. I'm really excited. This is hopefully they actually make this pick. Bring Sasha Vujacic back. That'd be a good move. Maybe as an assistant coach someday. I'd like that. I am going to say right now, I think the pick is going to be Deuce McBride. I think there must be some. I think the medical on Butler has clearly scared teams off. And I think that Cooper is falling for a reason. Small guard, shooting questions. This reminds me a little bit of, oh my God, what draft was it? Oh my God, was it the 2005 draft? 2006, 2007, 2008? I don't know, one of the drafts where Maje Lampe. Oh! We have a trade. I told you, motherfuckers. The Knicks have traded down 32 to 34 and 36. You want to talk about value? This is nice value. So this is Oklahoma City. Clearly, Oklahoma City has a guy that they really like. I can't wait to see who this is. I wonder. Oklahoma City picks Jeremiah Robinson Earl at 32. So Jeremiah Robinson Earl is a guy that if you've been listening to draft podcasts, if you've been reading any of the mock draft stuff that's come out over the last week, Jeremiah Robinson Earl is a hot name. Again, you want to talk about fucking value? You want to talk about fucking value? 34 at 36 or 32? Shit, man. Brock Aller. Bravo, baby. For a guy that they were not going to take at all. Man. Keith Smith. Wait, OKC gave up an extra pick. We got it. We got an extra pick from Sam Presti. Really good value. Really good value. I mean, clearly they like Jeremiah Robinson Earl. Maybe Jeremiah Robinson Earl turns out to be a great player. I have no idea. The thing on the screen was role player potential. So I guess there you go. We'll see what they do with. We'll see what they want to do with 34 and 36. It would not surprise me. It would not surprise me in the least if they trade one of these picks. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be a dick or a douche or anything about this. Again, you can hate everything that the Knicks are doing, but at least, and I shouldn't even say that. Jason Preston is going to be the 33rd pick. So again, all the guys that we just talked about, Butler, Cooper, and Deuce McBride, are still going to be on the board at 34. Back to what I was saying. You could think that Brock Aller is running a Ponzi scheme here. And that's fine if that's what you think. I'm not going to argue. I'm not going to be able to talk you out of it. But I just really, this is the way my mind works. I just really like a front office who knows, like, can manipulate a night like this. This is why you hire a Brock Aller. This is why Brock Aller is one of the more respected behind-the-scenes guys in the entire league, and why when the Knicks got him, everybody you heard up and down praise that hire because of nights like this. This is why you have a Brock Aller to and also, by the way, I think it also needs to be said, this is why you have a Worldwide Wes and a Leon Rose, and actually more importantly, a Walt Perrin, because I think these guys know the lay of the land. I think they know who's going to be where, and I don't think for a second the Knicks would have made any of these trade downs if they thought for a second that there was a guy that they potentially really wanted who was not going to be on the board as a result of these trades. And it seems like that. How do you know Allen Houston isn't making these moves? You know how I know Allen Houston isn't making these moves? I'll tell you why. Hold on. Knicks now traded 32 and 34 and 36. So they have 36, 34. Okay. Imagine more trades coming. You never know. Hold on. I'm going to tell you how I know that this is not. Oh, I think that tweet actually came from the Knicks account. Whatever. There was a tweet about the Knicks draft war room from the Knicks themselves, and it showed. Let me see if I could pull it up. Oh, here we go. So I don't know if you can see this. So this is the Knicks draft war room. So in the front table, you have Walt Perrin, Worldwide Wes, and Leon Rose huddled together having a conversation. Then you have Scott Perry over here. You have Tom Thibodeau over here. That, to me, is the power structure tonight. Leon, Wes, Perrin, with Perry a little bit to the side and Tibbs a little bit to the side. And then all the way back there is Allen Houston. You see Allen Houston? Allen Houston's in the back fucking row. That's how I know that Allen Houston isn't making these moves. Shout out to Allen Houston. And, oh, my God, the Knicks are picking. Wait for it. How do I pronounce this person's name? Rokas Jokubaitus. I'm going to go with Jokubaitis. Can anyone who is from the country that Rokas Jokubaitis is from inform me as to whether I have pronounced his name correctly, or if I have just forever offended his family and his dead ancestors? I would appreciate that. So Rokas Jokubaitis is 20 years old. He is from Lithuania. He is a point guard. He's a 6'4" point guard. That is what we know about Rokas Jokubaitis. Okay, we have here Jokubaitis. Is that real, or is that trying to get? If that is not real, and that's just trying to get me to look like an asshole, well done, Jokubaitis. They really are trolling Cooper at this point. I have to say, I'm a little shocked that they did not take Bones Highland here, but I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued by Rokas Jokubaitis, and I do wonder how much of this is about just drafting a guy that again, as has been the theme of the night, they just are not going to have room in the rotation next year for rookies. So I have no idea. My assumption would be they're going to stash this guy, but I'm going to try to get some confirmation on that. Why don't we tweet to Jonathan Wasserman? We're going to go ahead. We're going to do a little quote tweet of Woj here. Draft and stash, ? Let's see what Jonathan Wasserman has to say, because I don't know. And New Orleans at 35, Herb Jones. So if you're keeping track, with the 36th pick, the Knicks still have on the board Sharif Cooper, Jared Butler, and Deuce McBride. I need another sip of scotch. My goodness. Okay. I hope this guy's interesting. I hope he's like a prospect. Oh, wait, here we go. We're going to learn about Rokas now.
I just want to say it, though. Rokas Jokubaitis. I got it right. Jokubaitis. It's still got it.
The fact that when he got that name right, that messes up other ones. But first, you did a very good job. There's no chance that I'm saying his name is Roko Yoko.
So ESPN is not giving us any information on this person. They're having Richard Jefferson and Kendrick Perkins go back and forth about the pronunciation of the guy's name. This is the worldwide leader in sports, by the way. This is so great. I'm so happy that I have ESPN here to give me all the information that I'm so severely lacking about the Knicks draft pick. Okay, well, that's great. That's really wonderful. Thanks, ESPN, for all your help. ESPN compared him to Dragic. Well, that's good. Kendrick Perkins couldn't pronounce Moody. That's phenomenal. He dropped 31 on LaMelo Ball 2 years ago. That's a good sign. Amazing. Okay. Oh, wow. Spencer Perlman, the man whose basketball opinion I trust more than anybody else, says, and I quote, this is a good pick. Rokas Jokubaitis. Hold on. A ball handler who brings passing on the move, advantage creation via foul drawing, and off-ball defensive consistency. Okay. Going to retweet this again. Thank you, Spencer Perlman. Mike Schmitz loves the pick. If Mike Schmitz loves the pick, I love the pick. All right, everybody's getting their Jokubaitis takes now. Mark Berman says he's a good shooter. We'll see about that. Mike Schmitz is a huge fan of him. That's great. Okay. Ow! hold on. Let's just make sure this is the Knicks pick. We just got a tweet from Shams. Is Andrew, you there? Andrew, tell me you're there. I need you here. Here we go. You ready? The Deuce Man coming. Tastes so good. Tastes so good. Andrew. How quickly can we get some Deuce Man merchandise up on the KFS store? That's all I want to know. So here's a guy. His name's fucking Deuce Man. Here's a guy that, okay, I'll be serious for a second. Leading up to today, we thought this is a guy that the Knicks had their sights set on at the 21st pick in the draft. They have just selected him 15 picks later with a second-round pick with which they will have absolutely carte blanche in terms of creativity of crafting this contract. And, oh, by the way, guess who's pretty good at crafting the contracts of second-round picks? Brock Allen. They picked up all kinds of assets tonight, and they still got the guy that they allegedly wanted all along. That is why you hire Brock Allen. And we hope that is why you hire Walt Perrin, because as I reported, I love being able to say that, as I reported in the Knicks Film School newsletter today, not only is Tom Thibodeau in love with the Deuce Man, but Walt Perrin as well. So this is a guy that the entire front office and the entire brain trust, I think they're all in on this guy. I think they're going to really like him. I think he has a chance to play right away for two fucking reasons. Two reasons. He could shoot and he could defend. And I know there's going to be a lot of people who are going to be very upset about the fact that the Knicks did not take Sharif Cooper. I understand that. They have to trust what they need. They have to trust their selection process. They have to trust the fact that they're going to be able to take a guy into their program who's actually going to be able to play productive minutes and not have his value, crater through the floor. I'll take a few questions in the chat and then I'm going to get out of here. By the way, thank you everybody who's stuck around all night. We still have somehow 700 people watching right now. It's 11:30 at night. We have over 200 people who have liked this thing. I'm not sure that I would have liked this, my silly ramblings, but thank you to everybody who pushed the like button. If you'd like to push the like button still, feel free to do so. I'll take a couple questions in the chat before I get out of here. Stefano says, I think that means Rose does not come back. I do not think that means Rose doesn't come back at all. If you're asking me right now to predict next year's rotation, so here's the question. Does Tom Thibodeau trust a rookie point guard to come in and run the team for 15 minutes a game? The thing about Deuce, I'm just going to keep calling him Deuce. The thing about Deuce is that Deuce he's short. He's 6'2.5", I think, or 6'1.5". Maybe 6'2.5" with shoes, but he has an incredibly long wingspan. He has a 6'8", I think 6'8.25" wingspan, or 6'8.5" wingspan. Whatever it is, a long wingspan. I'm not going to say that Deuce is a guy who you're going to feel comfortable putting on twos, but I think that because of his shooting, and because the fact that I think he's a little bit more of a combo guard than a true point guard. I think you're going to be able to put him on the floor alongside another point guard. So I think this is going to give Tom Thibodeau a lot of roster flexibility in terms of what he wants to do. Now, all that being said, let's just quickly go down the list. We know the Knicks in an ideal world want to play RJ Barrett at the 2. Emmanuel Quickley exists. Quentin Grimes exists. Deuce, the Deuce Man, exists. That's 4 players right there. I did not mention Derrick Rose, and I did not mention the fact that in almost all likelihood and certainty, the Knicks are I have to think the Knicks are going to spend some money to bring in a point guard to start for this team. I have no idea who it's going to be, but I have to think that they're going to bring in a point guard to start for this team. Back to the Rose question. Does this mean that Rose is not back? See, now you got me reconsidering. Let me take this super chat comment. Luke Shaman might not have gotten quick sex, but I love a quick deuce every now and then. Man, the best kind of deuce is a quick deuce because you get in, you get out, and you get on with your day. And that's all I have to say about that. Back to the rotation. So I'm reconsidering the Derrick Rose thing because now I'm starting to think to myself, well, Derrick Rose's name has been popping up in, free agent point guards who could become available this summer. I wonder if he priced himself out of the Knicks market with what else the Knicks want to do. So just stay with me here for a second. If the Knicks do indeed spend a significant amount of money on name your fucking point guard, Kyle Lowry, Spencer Dinwiddie, Lonzo Ball, fucking what's his name? I can't even say his name because I don't want him so much. Oh my God, I'm legitimately free. Dennis Schroeder. Whatever point guard you think they're going to bring in. If they bring in that person to be their starter, if the Knicks think that Emmanuel Quickley can pick up enough playmaking between year 1 and year 2 to be able to coexist in the backcourt with a guy like Deuce McBride, and then if you have RJ Barrett penciled in maybe to play some more 3, I mean, I don't think there's a world where Quentin Grimes starts for this team. But who knows? I mean, if they spend big money on a point guard, is it completely out of the realm of possibility that Quickley starts at the 2? And then, no, they wouldn't start Quickley at the 2. I'm just trying to figure this out because Quickley, Grimes, and McBride, Deuce, McBride, all of them on the bench. I just don't see how those 3 guys are all getting time if none of them are starting. So I don't know. I'll be surprised if both of their rookies that they picked tonight are in the rotation, to say nothing of the Rokas that they picked for overseas. We'll see, though. But if you're asking me, actually, I'm going to change my answer from a few minutes ago. Does this mean that Rose is gone? I think it probably increases the likelihood that Rose is gone. Yes. And someone says Quentin as the starting 2. Man, if they start a rookie next year, you'll get a big apology from me. I'd be shocked. I'd be really surprised if Tom Thibodeau started a rookie. But maybe he does. Maybe he surprised me. Somebody, Carlos Matos, McBride will start. Rose off the bench. But here's so looking at, let's take one more look at the rotation next year, and then I have one final thought, and then I'm going to get out of here. So rotation as it stands next year. Mitchell Robinson is your starting 5. Taj Gibson is your primary backup, with Obi Toppin giving some selective minutes at the 5. Julius Randle, obviously you're starting 4. Obi Toppin, your backup 4. Pause for a super chat comment from Manny Campos. Knicks getting 2 NBA-ready rooks. Do you think they'll use all the cap space on 2 starters and then roll out a young bench with Obi, Grimes, IQ, and Deuce? I'm going to answer that question right now. So I just talked about the 4 and the I do not think that they will sign a center this offseason. I do not think that they will sign a 4 this offseason. I still think there's a possibility that Mitch gets traded, but if Mitch gets traded, I think they're going to spend some of their cap space probably via a trade on bringing in a center. That's neither here nor there. They're going to have the center position covered either by Mitchell Robinson or someone else they bring in. I think they'll give Obi some minutes at the 5, Randall and Obi at the 4. Okay, at the 3. Based on what they did tonight, and based on who's available in free agency, I'm inclined to say that they're probably going to start RJ Barrett at 3. Probably. My guess is they're going to spend a lot of money on a point guard. And then, given that they didn't get the wing that they wanted tonight, I would guess that they would bring back Bullock. I don't know. Unless here's the only thing I'll say. Is there a chance that they get either Duncan Robinson or Gary Trent Jr. via restricted free agency? I would say yes, especially since they didn't get the wing that they wanted tonight. Assuming they get one of those wings. Jared Butler finally goes 40 to the Jazz. How about that? Good for him. So let's get RJ, either Bullock or one of the restricted free agents as the other wing, and they sign a starting point guard. Then what do they do on the bench? So you could bring back Rose to play off the bench, although I don't know if they're going to have cap room for that. If they get one of – so here, okay, let's bring it back. If they have to spend the money that it would take to steal away a Duncan Robinson or to steal away a Gary Trent Jr., or even a DeMar DeRozan, which I don't think they're going to do now, but whatever, plus a point guard, then that pretty much takes Derrick Rose out of the equation. I think the only way at this point, given the draft picks that they made tonight, I'll say this. I think the only way now that Rose is back is if they don't get one of those guys and they spend the majority of their cap space on the starting point guard, Bullock, for $11 million a year or so, and then Rose. And that's how they use their cap space. If they do the first option and they spend a lot of their money on a starting wing and they spend the rest of their money on a starting point guard and you have $40-some-odd million tied up in those two spots and you have RJ Barrett as the other starting wing, then you have Quickly coming off the bench. Is there a world where you have Deuce McBride as your backup point guard and Quentin Grimes, I guess, is your backup 3? Jesus. Yeah, I guess so, but that's a little small. You could see the wheels are working. I don't know. I don't know. It's tough. It's tough to figure out how to get these guys because, again, the way to get both of these rookies into the rotation is that one of them starts. And if you think that a rookie is going to start for a Tom Thibodeau team, more power to you. I personally don't see it. Last thing I'm going to say, and then I'm going to get out of here, is, first of all, thank you, everybody, for coming tonight. I missed one Super Chat comment, by the way. Jules the Walker. Seems point guards available. Fox, Sexton, Fultz. Do we make a move? I don't think Fox is available. I don't think Sexton is available. And Fultz, I think, is available. I don't think he's the guy they go after. I think there's too many question marks for Fultz coming off of that injury. Joe Wieskamp just went 41. I am happy with what they did tonight. It is pretty clear that they got the guys that they wanted, and they got the guys that they wanted on their terms. I'm going to send a tweet out in a few minutes, but Jonathan Wasserman had a tweet a few days ago in which he said that these two guys were the two guys the Knicks wanted if they couldn't trade up. if they couldn't trade up for one of their guys, whether it be one of the wings or Trey Mann, these were the two guys the Knicks wanted. The Knicks got the two guys that they wanted. They were not forced to spend a pick on a guy that they were going to have to rot, that was going to rot on the bench next year because they got a draft and stash guy. And they picked up two extra assets. They picked up a future first-round pick, and they picked up a future second-round pick from Detroit, which maybe Detroit is okay. Maybe Detroit continues to be dog shit. I guess we won't know. But I respect their process tonight. I respect their approach tonight. And I respect their patience tonight. And I respect it. One more thing. And I respect the homework that they did tonight. Because you don't make the moves that you made tonight as an organization and come away with the guys that they came away with, who were clearly the guys that they wanted, without doing your homework and knowing who was going to be available where. And that, my friends, to me is a sign of a professional front office that knows what the fuck they're doing. And I'm really happy that they are running the team as opposed to any of the people that have been running the team for the previous 2 decades before Leon Rose got here. Except Donnie Walsh. Shout out to Donnie Walsh. We love Donnie Walsh. Okay, I have apparently been talking for 2 hours and 21 minutes. Holy shit. That is a long time. Again, thank you, everybody, for coming, checking out the show. Don't forget, check out the podcast. Check out the if you're not a Patreon member, feel free to subscribe to Patreon. I'll have some Macri's minis up over the next week and change. And that is it. Somebody says, I'm sorry, this is BS, John. Why is it BS? Listen, you can disagree with me, but at least if you've been a fan of this franchise for a while, at least, there's adults in the room. You may not like the decisions that the adults are making, but there are adults making decisions. There are adults with a plan. And, I appreciate that. So, all right, I'm out. I'll see everybody later. I can't wait to see who they're going to take at 58. And check out the newsletter tomorrow, where I'll have a whole write-up on this. All right, later, everybody.